at best run 60-70% hit rates. Right? So there's no reason to stress yourself out too much about being perfect. Right? So and that goes a long way for helping you follow your rules, because part of it is like a performance anxiety. Like you just want to trade. So you just become impatient. Right? So there's a couple of things that I really want you to do, and that is to make sure that your process for entering a trade is detailed. Right? Make sure you know exactly why you're going to take it. If you want, feel free to detail that process out and send it to me, and I will look it over. Make sure you're thinking about. Jared even says this, which I really like the way he says it, which is why I don't change it. Which is risk the test, not test the risk. Right? So like if it's coming towards R3, it's really difficult to not take the trade as it's coming to R3 because you expect it to turn around there. But why not allow it to turn around? Right? Then trade it. So let it hit R3. If it never hits R3, you just don't take the trade. Right? The other one to make sure is, as you're looking in your strategies, make sure your strategies are refined and specific and you don't have too many of them. Right? So what I mean by that is make sure, so like let's say you're doing the pivot strategies, right? There are quite literally 10, 12 different pivot strategies, right? So that can become very overwhelming, right? Because you're like, okay, I want to do R4, I want to do R3, I want to do R2, I want to do this. Select specific strategies to start working with, right? So say I want to only focus on R4 breakouts, right? Or I only want to work on or just trade R4, right? R4 by itself has like 8 strategies or something. You know what I mean? It's got like 2 different ways to go long. It's got at least 2 different ways to go short in each scenario, right? So R4 is really aggressive that way, which is a lot of fun, right? But it does that. Or if it's an inside day or choppy day, just focus on the traverse, just focus on the inside trade. But that way you get the opportunity, to really focus. And right now, don't even make it about hitting a goal, right? As you need to start detailing a strategy that has a high hit rate, right? And getting everything and getting what works. Have stop, obviously, have a goal of where you kind of want to be, but just based upon on a loose risk and just work on process, pure execution. I don't care. You're still in sim? You're live? Okay. Make sure your risk factor is not so high that as you're making changes, you're going to like risk your account, right? Because you are going to kind of, make an omelet here, which requires breaking some eggs, right? So you don't want to be so risked in, because you could try a few new things and all of a sudden your next day could just suck, right? But that's okay, right? Because here's the logistics of it all. Right? The only way to evaluate whether your trade is working is you need to know if it is in fact working, right? So these are the criteria. Have those criteria been met? If the answer is yes, take the trade, right? And then do it exactly the way you're supposed to do it. And then if that comes back to a loss, great. Right? It really doesn't matter. That's good. That's clean, pure data. Okay, I said I was going to go long here. I said I was going to stop out here, but I got stopped out. What the hell? Here, logged it, right? And then every 20 trades, and this is how the Mark Douglas challenge works, right? Every 20 trades, you should be reevaluating, right? You're across that criteria. It takes about 20 trades to really build and be able to evaluate across that criteria. Right. And then what you can do is look back across your 20 trades and you can say, okay, of my winners, and this is what's important too, of my winners, did I follow my rules? Right? Because the reality is you could have winners and the winners were a result of you not following your rules. Right? But you can still be green having not followed your rules, but it cements some bad stuff, and then what happens is every time you followed your rules, you actually were red. Every time you broke your rules, you ended up being green. Well, that's going to be really difficult to build success and confidence on that, right? Because you're going to know in your heart, the only time I'm doing well is when I'm not doing well, right? So, so if you can really focus on the data aspect of it, take the hubris out of it, take the emotion out of it, and say, today, starting today, I'm just going to collect data. I want to know if it's a good trade. I want to know if it's a bad trade, right? I want to know, is my system working? Is my system not working? And then just query the system. Take 20 trades exactly the way you want to, as you've identified, win or lose, no matter, right? That way you can sit down, you can break it down, and you can say, okay, when I take, because what you may find is you may find, wow, you know what? Every time I waited for this, this, and this, it hit, right? And then you can say, if I only waited, and then you'll say, wow, out of these 20 trades, if I took my time, waited, and only did this trade, this trade, and this trade, and this trade, which actually hit all of my points, I'd be up like 30R today. But instead, because I did this and violated rules, I'm only actually at about 10R. And you'll start to realize that by taking more loss, you actually can make more money, because what you're doing is being picky for quality of setup, right? Making sure that what you're trading is what is good to trade, and a good, a good ticker to really pay attention to. Hey, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Hold on. Give me 2 minutes. All right, I'm back. So yeah. So does that kind of work or help a little bit there? Just kind of in that concept of kind of like a plan. Yeah. What I'll do too, I'm going to work on. Hopefully, I can get it done by this weekend after I get a couple of projects. I'm going to put an Excel sheet together. In that Excel sheet, it'll have the criteria that I'm really looking for, like what setup, level two imbalance, blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'll try and put something together that's clean, because I want everyone to start using it too. And what I may do is create it like like I might actually put it on like the drive, like put it on like a Google Drive or something like that, and share it. That way, you can just log into it and you can just fill it out, which will be super handy. Say that one more time at the end there. Absolutely. Well, the thing is that what we'll find is a lot of traders are very, very good at looking at a chart and saying support and resistance. You know what I mean? And even a lot of traders are really good at learning support and resistance and saying, I want to do this here and here. But the real problem is dealing what we're talking about here, which is just conviction and confidence. And that's one of the main things, since one of the things I think I bring as an edge is basically a confidence in a system. I'm not even going to necessarily say you need to trade my system, but I will help you to identify whatever system's working for you and then hopefully help you build confidence in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that sounds good. Let's pop back over to the main room so we can get ready to do a little trading. But I mean, it's good chatting, man. And let's do that. Give me some trades, and we'll get to work. All right, brother. Just me.